Open your cerebral cortex and shift your lobes into upper beta phase, because you are going to have Bitcoin knowledge transmitted directly into your vestibulocochlear. Your host at Bitcoin Knowledge is Trace Mayer, an early Bitcoin advocate since it cost $0.25, but this is not intended to be investment advice. A doctor of jurisprudence, but this is definitely not legal advice. And an investor in core cryptocurrency infrastructure, including Armory, BitPay, Kraken, and Mitagio, but this is not a recommendation of those services. Here, you get fed via direct mind download with pure and free Bitcoin knowledge.
Welcome back to Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast. This is our weekly update for October 11th through October 17th. And we have with us today Steve Michaels, who's going to be organizing and putting on the BitcoinInvestor.com conference that's going to be happening in Las Vegas in 2 weeks, October 28th and 29th. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Trace.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the the fundamentals that happened this week. Like what we had Gemini. What else happened?
So yeah, a lot of neat things happening around. Of course, Gemini. We had the Overstock News that just did another loan using their Open Assets protocol on the TO.com. And what else did happen this week?
Blockstream's sidechain went into live production.
Yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, we can talk about.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit? Like, what is this sidechain that Blockstream's implemented?
Sure, you bet. Well, I believe this one's called Liquid. Is that right, or something like that? And I am definitely not the expert in this area, but what I'm excited about is the fact that they actually have a working model now. Granted that it's not the true decentralized system. It's more of a tool for exchanges, but it's nice to see that now we have something that will be working, and it'll be a good testing ground in a way that I think it can help us all get a really good look and see how this is going to work. So
yeah, I was actually at a special event for Ripple last week, and they're going over a lot of the correspondent banks and the clearing and like a lot of these problems that the current system has. And it looks like Liquid, this new Blockstream sidechain, is going to be solving a lot of these issues, because a lot of the big exchanges are already signed up and ready to use it, like Bitfinex, Kraken, ANX, I think a few others. And you're basically going to be able to instantly transfer your balances among all the different exchanges. So that'll open up all types of arbitrage opportunities and whatnot.
Right, and I think what's exciting about that is that'll stabilize the price a little bit as well amongst exchanges, and then the fact that no single exchange will have full control over those coins, at least the Bitcoin side. So it's kind of an interesting shared key structure, I guess. And so at least that's my understanding.
Yeah,
anyway.
using it's a multi-sig sidechain.
Exactly, yeah. So
how does that blow up the mind?
That's kind of cool, yeah. So I'm very excited to see how this starts to develop and materialize, and we'll see. I think we will see the arbitrageurs step in, and you won't see as much disparity in prices across exchanges. And of course, if you do, then of course that's a flag that there's probably something else wrong with that exchange.
Yeah, exactly. We're also 40 weeks away from the block reward halving, which I think is getting pretty interesting, pretty big. And the price is broken out. We're at $265 a Bitcoin. I wonder if this long bear market is finally over. And then, of course, remember the 5th of November, we've got, isn't that funny? It's like they did it on purpose. The Silk Road, the final batch of coins, 44,000 plus Bitcoins from, seized from Silk Road are being auctioned by the marshals. And so it makes me wonder if this run up in the price is in anticipation of this auction, since it's so hard to acquire large blocks of Bitcoin.
Right, and you would think that would be counterintuitive. You'd think a big amount of supply coming onto the market would have a depressing effect on the price, and so I think it just speaks to the demand in the marketplace. And I think we are seeing a turnaround here. And of course, we don't know what'll happen, but it sure feels good.
Yeah, because I mean, the 50-day moving average is at $237.10. The 200-day moving average, which is the one I really like to look at personally, because 200 days you're gonna shake out all the daily fluctuations and effects, and you're gonna see what the real long-term trend is. That's at $245.60. It's trending up. And now we're at 265 in anticipation of a major dump of coins by the marshals. And I guess the smart money is able to make money when it goes up, when it goes down, when it stays neutral. And the way you establish a position, you have to accumulate at the bottom of these bear markets. You have to be accumulating Bitcoins, and now we're seeing, a big block come up and the price jumps $20, $30.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because, I think this, 2-year bear market that we've been in the price of Bitcoin has really shook out a lot of the fair weather traders and the fair weather investors in Bitcoin. And those who actually have a solid, call it a belief or a conviction in their Bitcoin holdings, aren't selling. And so the people who, I think we've seen the distribution over the last, especially the last several months, but of course over the last year or longer, where Bitcoin has moved from weak hands into strong hands. And quite frankly, there's not too many people who are selling right now. And I think that's what we're seeing in the price. And I just, it was funny. It was just a few days ago, I tweeted a comment that, it felt good to see Bitcoin in the 240s again, because it hadn't been there in over a month and a half. And look, here we are at 265 a few days later. It's like, where was 250s? We blew right past those.
So let's talk about your conference. It's at the D, they accept Bitcoin, Las Vegas, October 28th and 29th?
29th and 30th.
29th and 30th. Don't get there early. Money 2020, right?
Right, yeah. So 29th and 30th, a Thursday and a Friday. And we purposely tied that in right after Money 2020, and we were able to team up with Michael Turpin and his Coin Agenda, and we've combined forces a little bit to work on that date. And so he'll be helping out as well and bringing in some great people. And the thing that I'm excited about, of course, is to go back and show some love to the D Hotel and Casino, because they were the first and quite literally still the only hotel in Vegas to take Bitcoin. And, why wouldn't we hold it there? And you can eat in their restaurants and their gift shops. You can spend your Bitcoin, and, it's really cool. I think it's going to feel really good to support them.
Yeah, no, I think I was your first confirmed speaker for the event.
You were? Thank you, yes.
And who else? We've got Chris Odom going to be there. We've got Michael Turpin, Paul Rosenberg, Ed Moy, the former director of the U.S. Mint.
Yes.
Tone Vase, Paul Puey, CEO of Airbids, who's also been on the podcast before. Stephanie Murphy, the host of the Let's Talk Bitcoin podcast. This is gonna be kind of a fun conference. Oh, plus a special guest that I guess we can't talk about,
right.
But we got to dangle the carrot out there somehow, right?
That's right. This is going to be a blast. If anyone's anywhere near Vegas, and of course the world is with the airports and that destination, but I think if you jump on a plane and come out, you're not going to be disappointed. And hey, it's Vegas. You'll have a fun time too. And our tickets are, they're only $99. And of course, we only take Bitcoin for payment for the tickets. We don't want any other those other payments. So Bitcoin only.
Not like Inside Bitcoins or Consensus where you have to pay with a credit card.
No, what's that?
To the Bitcoin conference? What the heck?
Yeah, I don't use banks that much anymore, So
why? Why use them?
Yeah, exactly. The tools are here, right? Bitcoin is here. This is what we're all about.
So I was looking at the agenda on BitcoinInvestor.com, and three of the topics that kind of stand out to me. One was arbitrage, and you were looking for speakers. I'd recommended Aaron Zerker from Coinauto.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit, what's he going to be talking about in this arbitrage?
Sure. So one of the things we've seen in this space is inefficient markets. And for arbitragers or traders or just, entrepreneurs, we call them, this is a great opportunity because you like inefficient markets, especially if you can figure out how to profit from those. And so Aaron with Coinado has a great technology that lets you tap into these different exchanges and profit from that in an automated fashion, which is kind of cool. And there's a lot of opportunities just at the local level, on the street level, where individual buyers and sellers. I mean, we see arbitrage opportunities like buying on the Coffee Fold app,
Yeah, 20% or Purse.io or Venezuela or Argentina.
Absolutely. And, Purse.io. I mean, why pay retail ever again for anything when you have Bitcoin? And the reasons are there are inefficient markets, and there are people who recognize that Bitcoin's the superior currency, so they're going to pay you a premium, and that's why you can command a discount when you spend Bitcoin. So all these great arbitrage opportunities that we're going to be able to talk about.
Now, Aaron's actually, I think he's a molecular biologist, and with his Coinado, he does statistical arbitrage between Kraken, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, looks at all those historical relationships, and that's when it layers on the buys and sells automatically in your account. So, I mean, he's going to be talking about like purely the trading arbitrage. I mean, we'll have other ones like, offshore banking and living your life on Bitcoin, where you're those presentations I think will be particularly interesting. Like, is offshore banking even still relevant?
Right, exactly. Which I would contend it's not. Yes.
Well, why use a central third party that's subject to FATCA when you can just use Bitcoin?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting and exciting how this event is coming together at this particular point in time, where we are coming, what I feel is the end of a 2-year bear market, but, who knows how much longer it'll go. But I think the stars are aligning now. The infrastructure has been put in place. Sure, Bitcoin has warts, but those things are being worked on.
And there are a ton of network effects.
Absolutely. I mean, the hashing power alone, it's incredible to watch that just march higher and higher. It's really an exciting time, I think. And I think I tweeted out the other day that, put your moon suit on and get to the conference, because I think we're going to have a liftoff. We're kind of seeing it already. So how long it'll stay, no markets go straight up, but I think it feels really good right now.
Well, what about like sideways or down markets? You're going to be teaching people some advanced strategies on how to make money in any type of market? Because real people who know how to make money, like, we don't care whether the price goes up or down or sideways. Like, we make money no matter how the markets are moving.
Absolutely. Volatility is your friend, and the trend is your friend. So there's, fortunately, we're in a challenges also create opportunities, and the challenges we have in the Bitcoin world now is there aren't very sophisticated trading tools, things like options and futures and shorting mechanisms. And so all these things are there's different companies out there putting them forth, but they may not have the liquidity or the reputation or the trust factor. And so it is challenging to take advantage of these movements, but every challenge is a new opportunity. So if you can figure out how to solve that either on a technical level or creating an exchange or figuring out how to navigate those waters, you'll profit handsomely. And we're going to talk about some of those strategies.
Well, I like Aaron Turker's Coinado. Actually, I've done an interview with him. People who they can use the discount code BitcoinKN, and I think they get a discount on the fees that they pay to him. I like the statistical arbitrage tools that he's got there. And just in terms of disclosure, I don't get any dollars from the ticket sales for the conference. I wish I did, but it's hard. You're probably going to lose money running the conference anyways, because it's the first one, but hopefully we'll have more, because I think it's very important for the community to be getting together and forging the relationships. That's one of the big things we saw at the Scaling Bitcoin conference in Montreal. Yes. The anthropologist gave a talk about these digital communities and how they form and how they're successful, and in-person meetings where people are able to come and talk shop and do business and have those personal relationships. That goes a long way to keeping community together. And And so that's what I really like about kind of the lineup of speakers. It's a lot of people that I know, and hey, I haven't seen them for 6 months or 9 months. Like it'd be good to get together and go trick or treating or something.
Right, exactly, and that was one of the reasons I put this conference together. Is and you'll notice this from conference to conference that there's different themes and there's different type of vibes you get from the events. And what I really wanted to do with this one is to focus on the core value propositions of Bitcoin, and especially the people who kind of help bootstrap this from the beginning. People like yourself, people like you just look at our speaker list. Just about every one of those has been around a while, and they recognized why Bitcoin was created in the first place. It wasn't necessarily to create cheaper and faster payments, although that's a nice side benefit. But it was created, in my view, and of course it can be many things to different people, but in my view, it was a way to protect and preserve your wealth.
Monetary sovereignty, kind of Nick Szabo BitGold paper, like way back in the day.
Yeah, and I was on that early cypherpunk list, and I was involved in the eGold days, and I remember, eGold was the what we thought was the holy grail. It was a currency backed by gold, which was limited in supply, and it was instantly transferable. And I went through that whole experience, and I thought we had arrived. And of course, we found out there was a couple fatal flaws built into that system.
It was not censorship resistant.
Absolutely.
It wasn't distributed.
Yeah, and it had a backing too. So even if it was decentralized in some fashion, if you still had to back it by a commodity like gold or silver, even if you spread it amongst different vaults around the world, all it would take is a bigger army to come in and seize those vaults, and you collapse the currency. So yeah, Bitcoin solves a lot of problems, and we're going to focus on that in this event. In what gives it value? Why was it even created in the first place? All these other benefits are nice and they're great, and it's exciting to see them build on top of Bitcoin. But you can't take away that core value that allows you to have your monetary sovereignty, as you say. So,
yeah, and transfer value over a communications channel, so that it's that's a very unique property that this particular commodity has, and from that we have to figure out how to value it. We got to figure out, like, when is it undervalued, when is it overvalued, like what are the prices and the charts and the relationships telling us about how we can make money with this.
Absolutely. Like any market, it's never straight up and it's never straight down. We go through periods of mania and despair. So you get overbought situations and you get oversold situations. And the psychology of investing is very real, and it's very tough to overcome. And you see it. You see it this last 2-year drought that we've had in the price. You've seen a lot of people bail out or get disillusioned, and you've seen a lot of them turn on each other too. I mean, you just look at the Reddit forums and other places. You've got a lot of gnashing and wailing of teeth, or whatever, and
bleeding the bear.
Exactly. So that's been a little unfortunate, because you have a lot of people who have maybe been less than civil with each other, and but I think we'll come through all right, and the market will turn, and I think it's on the horizon, and it's going to be fun.
And it's at the Satoshi Roundtable. I was asked to give the toast by Bruce Fenton, and I told everybody, like, hey, look around. Like, this is the bear market. These are the people that are here. These are the ones that you can trust. Because they're here.
Yes.
Because when the price turns around and more money starts flowing into the industry, everybody and their dog is going to be a Bitcoin expert. Everybody and their dog is going to have a startup and wanting to get funded. And you're going to have to, especially if you're running a Bitcoin business, or you're trying to figure out which ones to actually spend time opening accounts with and establishing those relationships, like, you want them to be around. You want them to not just be fair weather like Bitcoiners. You want them to like kind of understand that there are going to be ups and downs and waves and peaks and troughs to kind of deal with. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. We're gonna enjoy Vegas. Like, going to be fun at the D. Support the D for accepting Bitcoins.
What was that other company recently that, just this week on Reddit, is distancing themselves away from Bitcoin, not going to be a Bitcoin company anymore.
Circle, I think.
Circle is one of them, but even more dramatic than that, I think it was the BitReserve guys.
They changed their name to Uphold. You know what I did?
What's that?
I logged into my BitReserve account and sent every single penny out of it. Every single penny worth of Satoshis, I withdrew to my Bitcoin address.
Well, and if you look back at some of the statements from...
what are they doing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were fair weather friends of Bitcoin. They saw the trend, they saw something happening, and they jumped in, and who knows what they did with it. They raised a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah, on someone else.
They did raise a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Why do people hire Bitcoin? Is probably what I'm going to be talking about. And the other thing is, a lot of these speakers, we're paying our own airfare, we're not getting speakers' fees. It's just as much a kind of a gesture of goodwill to the community for the speakers to be attending them as it is for, the conference organizer to put it together. It'd be nice if they were making money. Hopefully the price will turn and they will, but
yes, absolutely. And I, for one, am definitely grateful that our speakers have been so willing to participate and come and share their ideas. And I think it's a testament to their conviction and belief in this amazing tool that's been gifted to us that can really make it a better world for all of us. We have a tool, like you said, monetary sovereignty. We have a way to now protect our wealth and transport it away from harm, with a few blips.
Quicks, yeah. Oh, and since we're on the topic of conferences, I actually just confirmed with Rodolfo I'm going to be speaking at the Latin American Bitcoin Conference in Mexico City, and that's December 4th and 5th.
Great.
And this will be the third one. I've spoken at all of them. I think I've done quite a bit to help grow Bitcoin down there in Argentina and Chile and Uruguay and Brazil and whatnot, and so it's exciting to see. I think the website traffic for Bitcoin from Spanish-speaking countries, it was 1.1 million visitors in May and 2.3 million visitors in June. And the overall trends are just really growing very organically, very well. The volumes on local Bitcoins in these Spanish-speaking countries are growing. It's very exciting, what's going on in LATAM. And so, going to be going to that, going to be going to this conference in Vegas, 28th and 29th. You can learn more where? BitcoinInvestor.com?
BitcoinInvestor.com, and you can grab your tickets. You can look at our speaker lineup. And downtown, I don't know if, for folks listening, if you haven't been to downtown in a while, it's just really a blast. The new video walk that they have down there is incredible, and they've got 4 or 5 stages where you have live bands going every night. So if you if you like to have a good time, this is going to be a blast. You can go from
oil prices are down, plane tickets are getting cheap. Why not come to Vegas, right?
That's right.
Okay, well, thanks for being with us, Steve Michaels, BitcoinInvestor.com. We've got a conference going on October 28th, 29th, the D in the Vegas.
29th and 30th.
29th and 30th. Hope to see everybody there. We're going to have a lot of fun, and there's going to be a special guest that I think people will not be disappointed with, and it'll be cool to be able to ask questions of them. So anyways, that'll wrap it up for the podcast today. Thanks for being with us, Steve.
Thank you very much, Trace.
Be sure to get a copy of the free Bitcoin Guide at freebitcoinguide.com. Got a question or suggestion? Record your voice at bitcoin.kn. Don't be shy. To help the show, share Bitcoin.kn with friends, post about it on Reddit, and otherwise spam the interwebs. Your iTunes comments and 5-star reviews are very important to us. Please continue tuning in to the Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast, where we release interviews with the top people in the Bitcoin world. Now take some choline and let that Bitcoin knowledge consolidate.